I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and start out with a special meeting of the agenda. And being we haven't selected chairperson yet, we'll just go ahead and call the order and then approval of minutes. Get somebody to approve the minutes.
Members on the floor.
No, we don't members before. You too, that's it. Can you print them? I emailed them.
Being there's only, well, we got, there's just two of us here. I don't know if we're approving. Maybe we should go ahead and go to the selection of a chairperson, and then at least that'll give us three for the quorum.
Two members.
I can't hear you.
You have two potential members also. From the hospital.
You guys are from the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. Will there be members and are part of the quorum so they can, you can prove that, well, you weren't here for them, but we can go ahead and you can, so I guess we'll just entertain a motion to accept the minutes for last meeting.
I haven't seen them.
Oh,
Yeah, I can put them.
Anybody else seen minutes?
I
really emailed it.
I mean, I probably written in and we just
Okay, make a motion that we approve minutes from, what was the date of the last meeting?
I'll second. All in favor? Motion carried pass. So we'll go ahead into selection of chairperson. Somebody want to be chairperson?
Oh, come on, Chad.
So, and this stuff has to be on video. If you're gonna be on Zoom, you have to be on video. Or in person, like you guys are. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. Just a question, do you have a quorum that's on the health board?
You
I
have to
don't
be.
think you have a quorum.
You have to be on video. We're not gonna go over this no more.
You want to cite the code that says I have to be? Cite the code. And then as long as I don't have the money to correct my camera. So you're going to deny me my freedom of speech? I have that question. Do you have a quorum on the health board?
Yes.
You do? Who's the
There.
quorum? I know you're there and you're acting chair till there is one appointed, and Blanche is there. And who else?
You guys want to state your names, please?
Sure, thank you so much. That's a great call out. My name is Michelle Kirsch. I'm a nurse from Granite County Medical Center and the Chief Compliance Officer there. And next to me is Jessica Martin. She's a nurse practitioner at Granite County Medical Center and our chief medical officer. We are new members, and so we reviewed the minutes prior to our being here. While we weren't there at the meeting, we feel that there is no errors in the minutes and are comfortable moving forward.
Dr. Collins on too.
Okay, so, I'm looking at, then maybe the Granite County Health Board page has to be updated. Thank you. To reflect that information, because I don't see it on the web page. Thank you.
So how do we go ahead and select a chairperson?
I would make a motion that maybe we could postpone that until next meeting. I feel like we maybe need to explore what the expectations of the job are, and understand our goals for the year, and then, you know, decide if somebody else, I understand that's a burden on you, Chairman, that you would have to stay on for a couple more months, but would that be something that we could consider?
Yeah, we can table it until then. I mean, we keep, nobody wants to be it anyway, so we might as well table it and then we can go from there, and I'll just run the meeting today, if that's okay.
That sounds great. If
Yeah, right,
there's any
so
objections.
we'll go ahead and move on, being that we're gonna table selection of chairperson. And then we'll go ahead right into the Chadley's.
All right, so I'm Chad Landis, Tri-County Sanitarian. I apologize for missing them at last meeting. I just missed the notification of the meeting, so. At any rate, I would have at least sent a notice, but anyhow, here we are. So a report, we're well underway with on-site septic systems. I'm Chad Landis, I'm the sanitarian.
Pleasure to meet you.
And run the environmental health department, and so we do septic systems, on-site subdivision stuff, restaurant inspections, those kind of things, just in case you don't. So yes, so our on-site septic work's well underway. We had applications coming in for on-site septic stuff early this year. Systems already being installed right now, so the site conditions are well for people doing dirt work. We seem to be on pace with development to continue like the recent years, at least hold steady. We ran through some numbers from last year. We had nearly 60 septic system permits completed. Those are installed and approved in Granite County. That is over double what Powell County did in 2024, and nearly as many as Deer Lodge County and Powell County combined. So we're the hot spot in the three counties, Granite County is. After kind of a flurry of new establishments in 2024, we're currently working on some plan reviews for ownership changes. Right now, I don't believe we're reviewing any new restaurants, but we do have a couple of our larger established food service establishments changing hands, like the bakery and Boulder Creek Lodge. So we're working with those guys, and that's going smooth, and the ownership changes should be done within a couple of weeks. So we are still working on our ServSafe training with our Deer Lodge County Extension agent, and we anticipate being able to give training, that ServSafe training. We plan on doing it for the Tri-County jurisdiction. So we're going to do training. We'll probably bounce around and do training in all three counties. But we do have people that have been requesting food service training, and of course we had it in place. The company that supplied that got out of the food service business anyhow. So we're back to ServSafe, which we did years ago, and anticipate having that ready to go pretty soon. So, and that's kind of it. It's just business as usual right now for us. In the spring, things are heating up. And we anticipate another busy, especially busy building season with so many inquiries and stuff lately. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
Any questions? All right, we'll go ahead and move ahead to Amanda Bowyer. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and move on to Deb Robinson.
Hello? Yeah, my video is on, but it's not showing anything. I can just tell you that we had to reschedule the survivor lock-in due to a lack of registrations. I'm working with the DUI task force to find a good way to get that event information to parents and students. I'm working with Drummond School for a date to bring OPI's tobacco speaker into their school. I have delivered Quitline provider packets to the hospital there in Phillipsburg and also the Drummond Clinic. And then some teenagers in Deer Lodge sewed burp cloths and nursing pads and provided some quit smoking for pregnant pregnant moms for the Healthy Granite Network. And then we're planning some summer activities through both libraries. And then Debbie's Children's Fair is coming up. So I'm getting together pledges and stickers for the littles and My Life, My Quit for the older students. And then just one legislative update from the last time that I spoke with you guys. SB 390 was a bill to include e-cigarettes in the definition of smoking for the entire state. We had youth go to the Senate hearing as well as the House hearing to testify on behalf of Granite, Powell, and Deer Lodge County because you guys were the 4th county in the state to pass it, and there is currently 10 counties in the state. And no Clean Indoor Air Act violations changed before or after we changed that in your county in 2016. It did get tabled in the House committee, which was unfortunate, and that was the last update that I had for you. But 2 days later, I took teenagers to Celebration on the Hill, and they were able to talk to some of those Human Services Committee members and send an email asking them to untable the bill. And it did get untabled, and it passed all 3 hearings in the House floor. And so now it's being sent back to Senate with an amendment. So we've got 1 Senate hearing and the governor's signature left on that bill, which would be a wonderful addition to our state's policy. And that is my update.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Amanda, I have a quick question. It may have fallen off my calendar, but the original date for the tobacco lock-in, I thought was proposed for a Friday. Can you confirm that? So I guess my thought and request would be considering talking with the superintendents about doing it a different day of the week, because I know at least Phillipsburg, and I'm not sure about Drummond, has gone down to 4 days a week. And so they're only Monday through Thursday. And therefore, if we schedule it for a Friday, as my teenage son put it, nobody wants to go to school on a day they don't have school. So if we want to get better participation, could we explore a regular scheduled day and speak to the superintendent who's back that decision?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you too.
All right, any other questions? Being none, we'll go ahead and move on with Deb Robinson.
All right, Debbie Robinson, public health nurse. I'm gonna start with the good stuff first. Our health fair is the 28th. We have 23 vendors coming to the schools, so that's very exciting. We have prevention messages, we have health messages, and then we have a couple of career tables for public health. Have some updates that need to be done to the website too. Or as we look at it, we're behind on our website updates too. And that's about it. That's where I'm gonna stop. It's been a rough week.
Pretty big shock,
Yeah, you know, we expected cuts, but that's a hard one. That's a tough one.
I guess we'll just have to try to stick together and figure out what
We'll
we can do to
start
make it
looking
work.
for other funding sources, maybe talking to the schools. We'll We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out, right? Yeah.
All right, thanks, Deb.
This is Kira. Sorry to interrupt. The Granite County mic got muted for a bit, so those of us who are not live missed all of what Debbie just said. So I don't know if there's a highlight update or.
So our health fair is the 28th.
You probably
You
said.
can come right.
We're very excited. We have 23 vendors coming with a prevention message, a health message, or a career message in health. We have a couple of public health and hospital people coming with career tables. We have received a couple of funding cuts as of Monday. The grant that pays the public health nurse salary will end July 1st, so we'll have to look at other funding sources. And our immunization grant also will be taking a $650 roughly per quarter cut. That pays our salary, our rent, things like that. So this is not the first of our cuts. We'll see more, I'm sure. This is the first of our cuts for public health. There is a lawsuit out, but the state does not expect the lawsuit to stop any of this.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You get all that? Thanks. Okay, we'll go ahead on the foodborne disease outbreak response discussion decision. Did you have that?
Yeah, you guys should all have a foodborne disease.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, quick, and we just need a signature.
Yeah, we did have an opportunity to review it. It looks
Yeah,
good. It's
and
pretty
Dr. Khan got a copy. So
It
we
came
were
in
just,
last night.
we got your truck wreck, but not the foodborne yet.
Yeah, the foodborne one came in late last night after I'd left the office, so it's getting faxed back this morning.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments on that? Okay, go to comments from local health officer, Dr. Kira Khan.
I don't think I have anything specific this month.
Thanks. Officer report. Then we have the bylaws, and people looked them over.
Yeah, we made a few adjustments to them, but it'll give correspondence to what we're actually doing.
Okay, I guess on that note, agenda for items for next quarterly meeting, I guess we'll all still be in touch and try to see how we can make stuff work.
Are we gonna do a motion on the bylaws?
I was just gonna say, are we gonna
Yeah,
do a motion? I'll make a motion that we accept the bylaws of the Granite County Board of Health. And so then we have to sign this last page.
yeah,
So we have Jessica.
Yeah.
And Michelle.
did
Okay.
you appoint a chairperson,
They wanted to table. it
okay, all right,
Till June.
okay, that's fine, yeah,
She brought it up.
yeah, but they can make motions and vote.
Okay,
So like Jessica and Michelle are new members. So. Do I have the motion? Is it?
1 second.
Okay.
public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Find a couple of those originals.
Oh, okay.
Okay, does anybody have anything for the agenda items for next quarterly meeting?
My, technical title is APRN, just based on the board certification.
I'm doing cross it off and, yeah, I mean. Sorry.
No, it's okay, it makes the difference when there's two different boards that certify the
It
practitioner.
was probably me and I did it wrong, sorry.
Should be signed above, sorry.
Oh, she just.
Thank you.
Yes.
Alright.
You could check in there.
Does anybody have anything with the next agenda? I forgot the chairperson.
Thanks for coming.
I'm gonna look through our set stuff and see if there's any plans that need to be updated, just to get those out
I think
before.
we met once with Brian. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the next meeting will be scheduled for June 17th, 2025 at 9:30. Go ahead and adjourn.
When's the next meeting?
June 17th,
Okay.
2025.
9:30?
Yeah,
9:30.
it says 9:30 on here.
Here's one at night.
I think it usually is at 9, but it's up to the board.
Let's just go at 9.
Yeah.
Would you guys be better off going at 9 for the next meeting?
9 works okay for us.
Yeah,
Okay,
9:30.
we'll just go ahead and move that to 9 on June 17th.
Yes, yes.
Is that all then? Okay, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Not gonna adjourn with the gavel?
Somebody in there.
Welcome,
Thanks,
new
everyone.
members.
Yes.
I signed it, you signed it.
Started 30 years ago today.
Congrats.
I started this job 30 years ago today.
30 years ago today.
You're getting old. Congrats. Did you start the beer, did it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's been with me since then.
Oh, man, that's awesome. How many more years you got? Live by ear?
I remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah, we go way back. I talked to Ann Reese yesterday, cause, her daughter's gonna build a house out in Scoutville, so. Haven't heard from Ann in a long time.
I was looking at old Butte Central tournament guy from junior high and Chad was on the team we got. He is old. Yeah.
Bye, John.
There's that original for each of us.
Okay.
Maybe we could send it out to the.
Yeah.
I just put apps in it.
We'll go ahead and start on the commissioner's agenda. Board min, and this has to be on video. Elaine had told us she can't be on video because she don't have money to fix her phone. Well, then why do we do this stuff? I mean, if we,
Yeah, it's your guys' rules, you're gonna pull them. So,
she said if we don't do it, it's something, freedom of speech or something.
you know, the state of Montana requires it, you can require it.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead with that, for the board of minutes.
I make a motion that
Sir.
we accept the board minutes from April 8th, 2025.
I'll second it. Paul Glowski isn't here today.
And that's not over.
Public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion been carried. Thank you. Department of Revenue, delaying mailing of 2025 mobile home classification and appraisal notices. The next one's from Craig Erickson, and it's on the RDG planning grants. And it's saying that we want to start to work on the Granite County's application for the $75,000 reclamation development grant.
So Miranda, didn't you say we're in process of
Yeah.
getting this going?
Yeah, it's due next Friday, so we'll.
Okay, do this coming Friday?
Next Friday,
Next
the
Friday.
25th. So they'll talk about it next
Okay.
meeting. Have a draft application, I think.
The next one's a grant closeout letter for the Riddick Field. Final grant was $278,600. This was when they were doing all that study and testing. That's sent to you, Blanche.
So Blaine, that means the grant is over.
Didn't he say the last time he was in there is finishing right up, and that was it. They just wanted to have a letter.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't see no need for it on the agenda. If they wanted Riddick, or the people of the airport board would have put it on.
Right, yeah, no, we didn't say anything like that.
Next one's immediate relief from the Department of Transportation. Safety improvements to begin in western Montana. Telling you pretty much there's gonna be 10-15 minutes. They're gonna start doing a lot of highway work all over the state. And there's just gonna be a lot of places that are gonna be held up, so they're trying to get it out to everybody.
yeah. There we go.
Next one's from Slate Field Observation Report. Telling us what's going on with it. He kind of went over this the other day talking about, and Blaine and I talked last week, kind of question on the bathroom up there, but they're so worried about trying to get that cement in and make sure it's done right. That I don't know.
They're back working the bathroom.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was pretty much just slates in and going over
So there was
stuff.
one picture in here that I noticed that was a bathroom. What was it? And it looked like it only had, this one, looks like it doesn't have trim on one side.
Oh, where they squared it. They narrowed the wall. I wonder if they're gonna try to. What? Oh, good catch. Cause I don't remember they stored them up.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't put a wall up and take half the, where's this bathroom? Is this?
I think that's the upstairs one that they're working on. There's like a 3-sided frame. It's brown, the 3-sided, and one side isn't.
That's, in the, judge's bathroom, this one.
So we're missing trim, or did they put the wall to the edge of the window, or what? What does that look like to you?
Looks,
Yeah, well, you're gonna put trim there, there'll be room for trim.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so then there's also, some tile that needs down there and stuff, but yeah, that bathroom turned out great.
good
Yeah.
catch, so.
Yeah, it's just the angle, I think,
Okay.
there's room there for the,
Okay,
I mean, it's not centered, but that bathroom, I think, the judge is gonna be really happy with it.
Okay.
That's it for correspondence. Any public comment? bit ahead. We can go into public comment on matters with the commissioner's jurisdiction. Go ahead, Elaine, on video.
Thank you. Again, Elena Gagliano, and I cannot connect to video camera. I explained that. I heard Blaine, you asked Blaine.
Yes, you guys can require that to be,
That's why we went
be
through.
on, the video to be on. And so the state of Montana requires it's not a public meeting violation.
Nobody wants to be the board on the Granite County Board of Health. How do we do it?
I thought you have your 5 members now. So yeah, you're good. The chairperson could be any of the 5.
Okay.
So at the next regular meeting, then I'd say that should be the first agenda item is to nominate, appoint a chair, select a chair.
Nominate Paul, no. Yeah, I had to be it. I was chairman once.
What's
You
that
may,
phone thing now?
What's the matter?
That phone. Yeah, we can just go ahead.
you may want to be a commissioner unless someone they know like the rules of conducting the meeting, but I think, yeah, if one of the others are interested.
So there's 3. And
And
then
then Michelle and Jessica,
And Jessica.
Jessica, and then
that's the
That's
full
the
five,
voting
yeah.
members.
There's
Fine.
Dr. Khan count too, or
No, she's not a
just-
voting member, just the
Yes,
public health officer.
Right.
okay.
so maybe next time make sure they come up there.
I didn't know who they were for sure.
I didn't know who they were either.
And we kinda got started talking to Chad.
Oh, did the agenda say public, Dr. Khan's report and a?
I think it did.
Okay,
That
so that'd be
was-
redundant.
Yeah, sorry, you
Okay,
guys.
that's-
I'm s-
She's the public health officer, so I just need one agenda. item.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't, I
Well-
should,
well. It is one, we just kind of wrote it, I guess. I didn't indent it. Should have indented it.
oh, okay.
What do we do? As long as it's on video. Got your hand up, but if you're not gonna be on
And she,
video.
you can say, yeah, I'll accept it, you're on video.
Go ahead, Elena. We'll accept it as long as you're on video.
Before you cut me off, I try to call in on the number on the Zoom in case you can't be seen. And I can't be picked up either because it's muted. So how am I supposed to attend a meeting? On the agenda, it says you can do it by telephone and I'm not being unmuted. And I tried calling on that.
There's a distinction between being able to attend the meeting versus give comment on Zoom, distinction.
No, this is on the telephone, Blaine. In other words, if you're using your phone and you're not at home, you can telephone in. Look at the agenda. What does it say? Join Zoom meeting, and there's the code. You click on it. Look at your agenda, folks. You can click on that, and that's what I'm doing to be connected. And then it says by telephone, and you call one of those telephone numbers. Well, I tried. I made the connection, and I waited for the host to let me in. I did *6. And what happened? I was muted and I couldn't unmute. I wasn't allowed to. So you tell me, Blaine, how does a person attend a public meeting? Her camera doesn't work. Let me remind you, you weren't there earlier for the Board of Health meeting, but Amanda Bora couldn't get her video camera to work either. But the chair continued talking to her. She couldn't get her camera to work.
Come up on the,
Okay,
Why
okay.
am I being singled out?
So basically, what you're saying is the state of Montana is doing it illegally then for, the legislature. You're attending there's a difference between attending the meeting and giving public comment. Their requirement is you have to be on video to give a public comment. But if you're having problems that, they'll let you go, just on audio, but you've been for several weeks and haven't got it. They said they'd give you a couple weeks and it's been over 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, Blaine. I know you're acting like the attorney, which you should. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying this is a public meeting. The public's supposed to have access to it. You have Zoom capabilities. And yet, I'm the only one. Other people, just like I said, Amanda Bora, who's with the health board, she could not get her camera. Are you going to say, but if she doesn't get it fixed by the next meeting, we're not going to accept talking to her?
Yeah.
You're supposed to allow not allow, you take the oath of office to follow the Constitution. And the Constitution of Montana says public participation and public's right to know. Why am I being signaled out?
Well,
Nobody
bring
does
litigation
this. And
with
it's
you
not
and-
just, I'm sorry, this is not just for comments.
we're not
Cut me
gonna
off. There you
go ahead.
Okay, so if I may make a comment from what I understand, if you're attending and you're on Zoom and you're there and you don't want to put your camera on, or you're saying your camera is, it's not working, you can't just decide that you're not going to be on Zoom, but without a camera, but you can go ahead and make a phone call. You're attending on Zoom. That means that you can get your camera fixed and we let you go for several meetings, and what you're doing, from my opinion, is you're just refusing to put your camera on.
Thank you.
So that if we're doing it wrong, then the state
No.
legislature's doing it.
This is our policy. We
Yeah.
set it, abide by it, or come in and sit in this office on Tuesdays.
She can give, she could be on audio and then send in written comment, emails. I mean, she could do that. That doesn't mean you're gonna get them during the meeting.
Any other public comment?
Show the video first.
Yeah.
Kind of video or something, I don't. Any other public comment?
This,
There she was. Like they're really going to town on the elevator.
Yeah. Pouring a lot of concrete.
Wonder how long they have to let that sit. For to make sure. It's
Yeah.
pretty thick.
Yeah, but it's cured for a while there. That Ryan is he's a good carpenter.
They so busy.
Blair Witch Project.
I don't see there comes a bunch of faces on there, emoji faces. Any other public comment? And then we'll go ahead and move ahead on the weekly report. With Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul, he's here. And solid waste. Go ahead.
We're just blading roads. Doing some service work on some of the equipment. We got mag coming and we got the one mag trucks all put together, ready to go. We have having a few culvert issues. But we got them getting that stuff located and ready to change. Hopefully we'll be changing them as soon as we get the pipes.
And that's on the upper Willow Creek.
Yeah, there's one up there and then one at Lower Willow Creek as well. And pretty much that's just about it. I visited with Lee and he said from the Maple Insurance claims, and he said to go ahead and send that check to the bank. And he's well aware there's gonna be some more claims coming in. And I told him 2 or 3 weeks, I just can't honestly give you a time because it's so slow getting it done. And he just said as soon as, to send this check in and as soon as we have the final bill for it, get that sent to them and they'll send a check right away. And then I'll pay that right on.
Good with that.
So I made sure to ask him that we weren't supposed to hold this check for any reason, and he said, no, just get it at the bank, so. It should be.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Never found out and still working on it. Or?
Yeah, hopefully that part was gonna be done this week, but they said that last week too. There's some other internal damage on the corner and they're having to make some pieces for it. And all that.
You just give it to Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay.
which should be coded by Sarah. And
First,
Sarah can-
okay.
Okay.
Did not know she needed to code it. Learn something new every day.
And then, I don't know if we've ever got the money from Blackwood yet either.
We got half
Yes.
and they were doing the other part of it.
Yeah, they got part of it.
We're supposed to have the other. I don't think we have.
Okay.
We might check it, find out for sure.
So we got Blackwood, or not the contract. be my guess.
Yeah.
The majority half of it.
Probably check with Sarah, she'd know.
Yeah, before you leave, and we'll run in there and ask them, see, in case we need to make a motion, make a letter to them or whatever. We'll find out now and see if we have to, instead of another letter or email. If we can find out where they're blading to for sure, so we can start marking that down.
Yeah,
So like on their time card, so if we better, and then that way we just say, no, they're here, they're in there.
yeah, we need to get that road book going.
Yep, I go,
Road book.
oh, yeah.
Somehow.
Go up and see my office. Looks great, new paint.
Your
Kim
office.
Philmore, yeah, Kim Philmore did great.
Well, he does a good job.
Yeah, he does, he's a narco worker.
Your office is painted?
Yeah, and look at it.
So is
Little,
clerk of court painted too?
yep, they were first, treasurer's office. Clerk recorders are just doing work on getting the break room better.
So we got the 8,000 from Blackfoot and 1,400 still coming from Rocky Mountain. So I'll call Jason when I leave here and let him light a fire under them. And I guess I'd recommend if we don't have it by next week, the letter should go out, huh? Something.
Yeah,
I mean, the bottom line is Blackfoot's liable for it. It's their baby, so we shouldn't be waiting. They shouldn't. That's what I'm gonna tell them when I call
well, yeah, they should just pay us on, and we should take it from
them.
there.
Let them worry about their
We
contract.
should be the middle person.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
My opinion, they have the ability to deduct that amount from their
yeah,
contract.
they're the ones that
So
are responsible, they're
this-
both responsible.
This would have been Blackfoot's contractor.
Subcontract,
Then they would be responsible
Yeah.
and then collect it from,
We should have to go after the
Yeah.
contractor.
yeah, that's
If he
correct.
don't work for us.
Both of them are on the hook, but yeah, that's better to, yeah.
That's what I'll run that by them when I leave. here.
yeah.
Anything else? Solid waste, did they find anything on that tobacco?
Not yet. Still working on it. Backwood broke down. Yeah, the drum and dump.
Mm.
And so I've got one from Caterpillar to use while they're fixing it. Hopefully it'll be fixed the end of this week. You just can't get any parts. Everything's so slow.
Yeah,
You order it and it's just wait.
that's the new normal.
It is the new normal. Other than that, that's about all I got.
Any public comment?
We're gonna go for a ride as soon as I get organized.
I know all about your little Matt Pierce map comment.
How do you know that?
I know things. That's what I do.
I didn't know about it after you told me. What'd you say something to Matt? How do you
I
know?
sent an email to Matt, but I told Sarah I was gonna send an email to Matt, so maybe you heard it from Sarah.
Maybe I heard it from Matt.
Already?
That was fast.
Well, cause me and him were,
You're close.
well, we're kidding about other stuff, you know. I'm in the need to know.
I want my little map. I have this, but I have to search by township and range and it
Oh, he's getting,
would
When they
take,
get the,
it would take work.
when they get the good ones, when they're done with that new one, that's gonna be nice. Of course,
Yeah.
later on the computer, you just swipe it off.
Yeah,
And that's what you're getting?
Hmm?
That's what you're getting?
that's what I hope I'm getting.
Sounds like you're getting.
I asked him to center it on the Commissioners District 1, which he could do all three if he wanted to. But I'm first.
It'd be handy.
We still have to get our road book somehow started. Like Scott was just saying when you went to talk with Sarah that we need the names of the roads being bladed so we can put it into the road book. So in it, for information, if people call and say, well, that was bladed on such and such a date,
Yeah, it's
it's in their activity sheet.
yeah, so.
We just need to get it from the activity sheet into a document, yeah.
I could do that. Put that down on their activity sheets, what road was
I think it'd be easier, and then he knows it.
Yeah.
Get
on
it.
what that, I could do that.
Maybe every week if you can, just that's, if it's not, you know, and then we could say, we're getting calls and ask them, well, were they blading? Or we, you know.
Yeah, they needed that'd probably be the easiest.
So how would you do that? Would you put it on a spreadsheet or?
Just put it on paper and bring it in. What roads they were on, you know, what roads, what day. And then, at least when they called and complained, they should have, well,
That's,
March 13th, such and such was, you know,
Yeah,
paper trail, make it
Yeah.
easier. When we start laying gravel, we'll know where stuff goes and, yeah. Heard anything on the gravel, anybody doing anything yet?
not yet, just,
Too early.
yeah. We're gonna get a whole bunch of shitty weather still coming. We're just keeping all the roads as good as we can. Cause they're gonna get tore to hell pretty quick, we just know we're getting.
mud season's coming.
It just is, you know. I guess they've never decided, there is no decision on the Georgetown Lake Road yet, what's ever happened there.
No,
Waiting to, I think next up is Cameron Razor is gonna come back. Talk to you guys.
So, yeah.
any other comments? Solid waste is all good. You got
People on the grade,
Did you get all our old books and the equipment?
we don't have any equipment books yet, but all the truck books are out, yeah.
I don't know if he got them or not.
No, I don't think so yet, and he's been gone, so.
The,
Thank-
you got people now that are starting to do maintenance around their places, on to bring in stained wood and stuff, we just can't take it. The only way we can take it, I guess they cut it up, put it in the dumpster.
How we gonna have somebody out there cut it up?
They would have cut it up when they brought it in. You know what I mean, and that's fit in the dumpster, because the only way we can take it, because we can't put it in the burn pile, so.
That's probably the only one thing we can do. We have to cut, chunk it, and put it in the, we don't want it in burn piles.
Well, the guy with the big beard that just left wouldn't like to see it out there. Just had a visit with him also.
And the
Visiting with
dog,
everyone.
I do.
and the dog named Hank.
Hank or Hank?
Hank.
I guess.
Don't make him sick, Hank.
That he was just like flat on the floor.
Being that, we'll go ahead and move on to the dam tenders report.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul.
As of today, it's 6428.89 feet and 7.32 below full. Last week it was 7.8, so we're still gaining it. And it's at 20.
think you can stay at 20 without going back to the agencies, but well, I mean, it was, keeping it up with inflows. So I think if your motion is to keep it up with outflows with inflows, I think you're fine.
I think that'd be the best motion, just keep it with what. We're gonna start getting some more moisture and the warm weather stuff's gonna start coming in, so we're still gaining.
They just would like to, perceive the fish wildlife park was to keep the level about the same right now.
I see Brad's on.
Oh, yeah, it's
he's on
okay.
video.
All right.
But we'll go ahead, I'll entertain a motion first.
So we would do
Keep the
Keep-
outflows consistent with the inflows.
the outflows consistent with the inflows. Which right now is at 20.
Yep. I second that. Public comment?
This is Brad Lehrman with Fish, Wildlife and Parks. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion been carried and passed. We'll leave it the same, Brad, and just keep an eye on it and see what we get. Thanks for being on, appreciate it.
Sounds good. Yep, no problem. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
I think most of, I have a couple of ranchers, they're just hoping that down the line, you know, that they get it when they need it, so. See what we can do. Alrighty. We're about a couple minutes early on Granite County Sheriff's Office, this 2017. Explorer with the 2 turbos out. There's put it in the paper. Was we gonna put in the paper and waste some money on advertising or just put it as, cause I mean, it costs.
Sorry, what was
Getting a
that?
lot of money.
Notice. Which we did.
Oh, yeah, I think it should be in there, cause, yeah,
If you think it should be, we'll just do it.
yeah, hope you get enough out of it to pay for it.
So. Is this going out into the paper?
Yeah.
Or is it already in the paper?
It will be.
Will be.
Going in the paper? Hopefully it goes in the paper.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, my advice was the last one was get it in, but they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So run it. What are we doing? It opens on the 29th. The bids,
So it'll be on the 17th and the 24th.
okay,
That,
Yep.
make a motion. then.
make a motion that we put, the sale of surplus Granite County paper in the paper for, what does he have on here? The Granite County Sheriff's Vehicle. 2017 Ford Explorer.
I second it. Public comment? He was none, all in favor.
Aye.
We carry the pass.
So is there a minimum bid?
No,
No.
because last time it was
3,000
and didn't get anything, so, but
Commissioner Class is not here today.
He's not.
Okay, and he's here.
So.
Thank you.
How about this?
Claim approval by fund
Now I'll do this.
and claim approval list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to witness what's happening?
No.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave this for him if he wants to peruse it.
Yeah,
He might be when he gets back.
The other thing I was gonna chat with you guys about is the claim for the, vehicle inspection books. So he was saying that you may be sending some back and reordering different ones.
No, he's gonna keep them all, but then he's getting some more.
Okay, and then the other thing was, is that gonna come, should that come out of safety?
I think that's what we said, that we'd take it out.
He thought that that's what had been said, but I wasn't, I just wanted to
Yeah.
verify. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, cause he called me and asked, and I said, no, we're just gonna take it out of safety, cause we're the ones,
Okay,
so.
I was waiting on all of those answers. I'm gonna throw that one in real quick and then bring it into you guys.
So what Safety, what fund is that?
It's the safety fund? You mean the number or? Like
Are you saying comp?
No, the, safety department. There's a safety,
In the general fund?
yes, I believe it's in the
I
general
think
fund.
it's under,
Yes, it is in the general fund, yeah, it's, yeah.
All right, okay, thanks. You're welcome.
and our next one is that 1010, it's gonna get tabled. And it's on that South Main Street over Clarkworth repair update bid proposal. Jeremiah called and said he wants to table it.
Yeah, right, Blaine.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
if there was any
So I
discussion.
guess we'll go ahead and start doing the claims and go from there.
did he say when he wanted to have it?
Now he wants to do it when the FERC call is on the 13th, I believe, of May.
Oh,
So there's a FERC call that day and I'll
Yeah.
put him after.
sounds good.
So, yeah, May. Yeah, county bridge replacement and then the comprehensive assessment proposals are due that day too. And a FERC call, for real.
So are we gonna recess till 10:20 for claims?
Yeah. We'll recess till 10:20 for claims. I think I said we go ahead and just start on the claims. We can,
This class.
did the lady get the house clean
Mm-hmm,
so we can put it out for rent?
yep.
Do we need to, can we just put it in the paper for rent now, Blaine? It's not an agenda item, but it's on the, we've been
Yeah,
talking
it's
about, as
just,
soon as we got it clean, then
That's just administrative work, yeah.
I think we should put it in the paper
Okay.
then. Try to get some of our money back on it.
So what,
It's 500 down to
500
a month
and 800 a month?
with all the,
If you wanna,
500 down deposit?
if you wanna change it to the lease, then I put that on the, agenda. Are you good? Are you good with the current lease?
seemed to work all right.
Okay. And then, yeah, then once you get folks and, looking at who to lease it to, that could be agenda item as well. Should say, yeah, no pets and
No.
it's good, there's equipment.
Okay.
With the Gale went up to that LGR training, huh? For that. Government study.
Yeah, then they have, Dan Clark's coming on Thursday at 3 to town, I think Thursday.
Yeah, the 17th, yep,
3 at town hall to give a training. For
it's open to the
Where's it
public.
gonna be?
On Thursday.
town hall, Phillipsburg Town Hall. Yeah, a joint one for the
Study commission.
study commission of the county and the town.
Mhm.
There. Yeah, I mean, the last study commission we went to, there was more talking about legality, background legalities versus just getting to it.
Thursday at 3. Town hall.
Mhm.
Are they running the Phillipsburg ambulance then? Have you heard anything or who's in charge of it? Cause I see here's another claim for a glucose meter.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Littlejohn's back around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, or no.
It'd be kinda nice to-
Patrick Robert. Patrick is,
Yeah.
Little is the poor.
Yeah, that little, yeah.
It'd be kind of nice to get an update and then, find out who's doing their billing, cause it sounds, you know,
Yeah, and from what,
Yeah.
Sarah was saying is that there's no revenue coming in for ambulance runs. So
Yeah,
when they-
probably having Robert come up. You have the contract with, this, Sarah,
Mhm.
public, what's her name now, not Coast to Coast?
should we talk to Sarah then or talk to the ambulance?
I talked to the ambulance folks, I'd get them on.
well, if
Yeah.
they're making runs and they're not,
Somebody better charge
getting
They-
their charges.
Yeah, the sheriff said they're making runs,
Peberg is.
yeah,
Yeah, I can have Robert Littlejohn or Max Statler, Lauren Robbins is on it,
yeah.
come up.
Because they're really spending money, but they're not bringing in any revenue for runs.
I agree with
Yeah, let
you.
Sarah know.
Get him on the
Yeah,
agenda. Next week I'd put him on the agenda.
See if he can come in.
John Will.
15 minutes, or what do you mean?
Yeah, about 15 discussion decision in case we gotta figure out make a motion on
Well, like you have Drummond Ambulance, they have Soulstone doing their billing, so why is it that we,
it was their idea. And we went just to keep them all involved. I think it was just kind of like, but we gotta start getting that bill, cause they can't keep running on
Yeah.
just red.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're in red, but they gotta be close. Cause what they got for a mill, it's not that much,
Mhm.
right?
what was the Brown Gulch notice that the county planner put in the paper? Was that
We had
saying that we
for the-
adopted the,
we'd have the commission put in the public hearing notice on Browns Gulch. It says the planner did,
well, yeah, looks like Brown's Gulch notice, $180 from, in the county planning to the Phillipsburg Mail.
well, that should have been from the county. That was the county commission that did that notice of public hearing. I'm not aware that Linda did it, did he?
I don't think she did it.
So that maybe it was taken out of the wrong.
Let me go see.
Okay. What's your step?
Just step over the cord, watch me trip over it.
Any way to do Bluetooth mics from the owl?
Not this one. I know, that would be nice,
Yeah,
longer cord, really cool, but. It's custom made. I've tried other cords, I was like, this isn't custom, it is.
Your office
They tricked
looks nice. I like the way you turn your desk and
yeah,
makes it look like a lot more room
I'll have
and
to come up with
my
Light.
desk no faces, I look out the window.
it's lighter in there.
Yeah. Ken did a good job. If I just put everything together in the center and I'd move the desk, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a good spot.
Like it? Yeah. I'll have to come check it out. I like the green they did and
Yeah.
it looks really nice,
York District Court's office looks new.
it
I
looks
mean,
so nice, the wood, that green and
Yeah.
wood.
You have that claim to the Guilford Mail.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a new
Is this a new
claim.
one?
Okay, cause the public hearing notice would have been months ago for the commission did.
Oh, yeah, this is. a new
Okay,
one.
oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
What's
I'm not sure what it is.
Guilford Mail.
You could probably update this to say you can be on Zoom without having your video on, but if you, public comment. again.
It's the alter.
With this overblame with the pennies, oh, everything.
Yeah, because yeah, cause, told her that she could, do it by mail, or it's free by mail with them, or take the county car.
Brown Gulch Road notice.
Yeah, that's from, yeah, it's from December.
Is that it then? That should become under commission?
Yeah, it's not, they don't have the notice attached, you know. So I don't even know what. But yeah, that's commission. I don't know that it's so late though, December,
Yeah.
it was a December bill.
Well, mine. I thought we were all done with all that. It's funny they sending them bills.
But that invoice date's December,
It's commission.
yeah.
Okay,
commission.
so you want it
Yeah.
changed from planning to commission.
And it was
And there was, you know, there was in the paper 2 weeks, is that both weeks?
2x7 Browns Gulch Road notice, $180. That's all it says.
Yeah, there should have been a second one there with the commission too.
talked to them about it a little bit.
Just, well,
Yeah, 12-5 Browns Gulch Road. Wonder why they wouldn't.
So, calculation.
These are all three, you know, these are all marches here. Why did they slip? Well, did that just get put in?
here, just hang on, Steve.
Unless those for mail failed to
So
send
what
it,
is
then
it?
you just resend it.
Out of commissioners, what? Commissioners
Your,
supplies, I guess, huh?
or,
It's weird, maybe the paper, but maybe it just got mixed up there.
yeah,
Cause usually they're right on.
Right.
well, the others, they actually had the notice attached to it, that one, they didn't even have the actual notice attached. See, we cleaned up a few historical county roads that were, there were some issues with them, like Brown, the Algonquin Tower, and Cliff Gulch were considered county roads historically, but no petitions were ever filed on them, so remember the public petition that got cleaned up.
You know that Browns Gulch Road, how far does the county's responsibility go on that road? That isn't the one that ends up at Wyman Gulch in Maxville.
So, the Wyman Gulch is a county road, except for a portion of it is the Forest Road, but Browns Gulch connects Tower with, comes around to Stewart And we had some litigation, some people that put up a gate across it. And,
Is that right?
yeah.
So, well, that, and I haven't been up there in a while, but between Phillipsburg and the shooting range, you know, you're familiar with
Yeah.
that portion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be just really a bad road, but they've improved it a lot. Cause
The county was just talking about putting a little bit of gravel on a mud spot, but yeah, it's not the.
It's good till my house.
We think they're,
It's just right outside.
disallow this then?
But people make it.
You wanna disallow
Yeah.
this or just
Yeah,
that one?
well, the interesting thing, Stewart Lake Road is a different thing where it's
Oh,
switched.
yeah.
Back used to be so ruddy.
It's right
the
here, planning.
Road right down the middle of the road. You got to get.
Go,
choose
yeah,
side of
question
the
mark,
road and let it
Oh,
go.
yeah,
It's not-
Thanks.
So it's, they did a lot of work on that road, they really put in Stewart Lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Yeah, the town did a bunch of.
The town has the water line.
Right.
So they do some work in there.
Yeah.
they need to be able to get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there were some real diehard people, the Stewart Lake's a pretty spot, and but you had to be careful going up there before, I mean, so it's.
Yeah.
See, here's
Yeah.
Robert Littlejohn putting in a claim for training supplies out of training fund, he wrote on there.
Yeah, it's,
Street. But I mean, I'm with you though, we gotta figure out, we gotta have money coming in.
yeah.
So you know, he's
so
a
you
Forest
look
Service law
on this
enforcement
right
officer.
here, this
Yeah.
is just the Peaburg ambulance, and they've spent $2,400. And like the 980 stuff was that stuff that Sarah, I'm looking at the right one. Yep. So, yeah. I don't know, we'd have to look at that fund. Let's see here.
Yeah, we definitely need to
Just-
get one,
yeah.
bring them in.
So general update and then billing. Is your,
Okay, see here, another one for Phillipsburg, I mean, they really, Sarah Morris got some medication supplies out of supply funds, you go down there and do.
Well, that's the one on the one for Sarah is the one that was in July. And I questioned it, but I guess then she came and explained it and said that it was supplies that they gave to, or they charged to, they gave to Peaburg Ambulance from their business, which is Coast to Coast.
public safety.
Public safety.
But I guess that when you read it, it says call it ranch at Rock Creek, meds use wasted stuff, fentanyl, morphine, whatever. Wouldn't they go after the insurance or something? Hey, I mean, we can't eat that.
Yeah, gotta be billed.
It shouldn't be just.
So that's the
billed
question.
to us. It should be billed to
Yeah.
the person that they.
Well,
took care of.
that's what I questioned is that, and they didn't charge that person.
That's what I.
But the only thing, from what I can understand, it was supplies that Coast to Coast gave to Peaburg Ambulance. It didn't really have anything to do with that ambulance one. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Is that
that they needed.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, it was like a
well,
transaction.
the way they're saying miscellaneous meds, call it Granite Ghost Town. It's darn near the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's $986, we gotta pay coast to coast, but. So did like Drummond take their supplies from coast to coast then, or have use their supplies and then replace them?
That I don't know.
Okay, so from what I understand is that they do it with Drummond. They give them supplies from their Coast to Coast business and charge them for it. And they did the same thing to Peaburg Ambulance, but the way it looked on there is they made a run and didn't charge that person and charged Peaburg Ambulance for the medicine that they gave that person on the run. That's what I got out of it, but that's not what it is.
So they should be charging the insurance or the person that,
Well, that's when we got to the point where there hasn't been any, revenue charges for ambulance runs.
Why don't you hold that back and you talk to them about next week?
every one of them, or just that one?
That's the one you had the question on.
Okay, we pretty much, I thought that you understood what was going on with this. I thought that we'd already talked to you, we understood, because I was the one that questioned it first.
I just don't know why the county would be paying it, but the ambulance should be going after if them people are
I
giving.
think
the
it's, I
ambulance.
think it's just the bill is, needs to be a little clearer.
And I think they'd be charging that person, if Drummond needed that medicine and they took it out of their ambulance to replace it, I understand. I have no problem with that. But Drummond runs on their.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. When I talked to Sarah, she
See
said,
why I get a headache, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
that's an interesting dilemma, because where you've got a private ambulance company that's providing supplies for, I guess, the public,
And I don't know that.
Isn't that what's happening?
Are you
Yeah.
having to explain this to me?
It sounds like they have like a wholesale account and you can get them.
It's me.
Try to mansplain it.
Let's go, Nikki.
Okay, so Phillipsburg ambulance replaced meds that they have here. It wasn't necessarily that they went on runs, but they are using Coast to Coast to buy their meds for them. And Drummond Ambulance does it quite a bit too. Because it's easier for Coast to Coast to be able to kind of facilitate that for them.
Oh,
So that's what happened. They purchased these meds for Phillipsburg Ambulance. And they ran it through Coast to Coast.
And they just need to maybe their invoices explain a little bit better instead of.
And maybe it just needs to be something like they indicate pass through for Phillipsburg Ambulance or something like that.
I know there'd be around.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Get it? Got it? Did I mansplain it? Did I get good?
There goes my squirrel. I forgot.
do you still want me to email them? I'm emailing them right now to see if they can. come
I
in
think
next
we
week.
need an update, let's see what's going on the billing part, just,
Okay.
not this claim, not the claim one, but just on how is Phillipsburg Ambulance billing these people, cause we're not getting the money coming in to cover what we're taking out. That,
Yeah, well, they rely on revenue, they rely on ambulance runs. And there's no revenue, there hasn't been any revenue coming in for this fiscal year for ambulance runs. Why? If they're making
Yeah.
runs.
That's, yeah, next question.
We're almost done.
No, I don't, that was an inadvertent cost. It's not, that's not one of those. Maybe, no, it's not cost, that was just a.
all right, let's go to our next, agenda item, we're a little behind, it's a speed study request on Montana Highway 1 through Hall, Montana,
Did you want to approve claims or do you want to wait? till after the
No,
speed? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
go ahead and kind of give us a. Doctor, oh, here's this. All right, we got some letters, we sent a letter to Department of Transportation, they sent back that it needs to have a study on it, and we have, I guess, then, we kind of gave them a letter saying we'd like to have a study so we could
Well,
figure
they
it out.
claim they didn't get that original letter, but it's been resent until they have it now.
So now we're just kind of waiting on them again.
Well, if you may I speak to that a little bit? Because you know, on February,
Say your name and stuff.
my name is Chuck Johnson, from Hall, Montana. And, on February 18th, I appeared before this commission, and I also filed a petition for a change in the speed limit signs in and outside of Hall, Montana. And as Scott has explained, the county commissioners and Scott Dunkerson sent a letter to the director of the Montana Department of Transportation on February 18th. And so that's the way it sat for a while. And on behalf of, I guess, Hall, I approached the Hall Elementary School District number 8 and asked them if they would like to send a letter into the MDOT in support of the petition for change in the speed limit signs. And they said they would. They read the petition and they sent a letter dated March 21st of this year into Chris Dorrington, who's the director of the Montana Department of Transportation. And at this time, I would like to file a copy of that letter with the commission because I think it may become important at some point.
And have they sent this in, or are you sending this, or what?
Well, what I'm going to do is continue to explain what happened here, because I think as Miranda and Blaine have explained, I sent that in to the director of the Department of Transportation, who may or may not have a secretary, but they lost all of these things. So then I went out and got signatures, 56 signatures of people from the Hall area or right around the Hall area. And I sent a letter into the director of the Department of Transportation with these 56 signatures. And I'm going to now give a copy of those signature sheets to the chair and ask that they be filed with the county commission record. So then in response to my letter sending in those signatures, I got a letter from a lady by the name of Joe Radine, who's the executive assistant of communications with the MDOT. She works out of Missoula. And the letter she wrote to me, I absolutely did not acknowledge that they'd received anything prior to that. So I called her up and told her, I said, there should be a file with the Department of Transportation because the Grant County Commissioners had already sent in a letter asking for the speed study and asking that the petition that I had filed be granted. And there was silence for several days. And then finally she called me, Joan Radine called me and said, we can't find those letters from the county commission in the files of the Montana Department of Transportation. And I said, well, I know that they sent them because I received copies of them. Then she, a couple days later, she called me and said, we found them. Or else she either found them or she contacted Miranda and Miranda sent new copies. I don't know which.
I think it was the latter that they were resent. So somehow they lost them.
But in talking to Joan Radine, and she was fairly easy to talk to. As I said, she works out of the Missoula office. She said there will need to be a speed study as Blaine had suggested there would be. And
It's up to 18 months.
well, they have appointed a guy by the name of Aldo Vidia, who's a traffic engineer out of the Missoula office of MDOT. He will conduct this speed study. I've told him that I would be willing to actually, if he wanted to contact me, kind of to show him as he first comes to town in Hall, what the problems are. And she said she appreciated that, she would tell him that, but he's the one who is tasked with doing this speed study, and and she said they may be able to expedite this, that's all she really said. She said that when Aldo Video prepares the recommendations regarding the sign changes or the speed limit changes, those recommendations will be sent to the county commissioners again, who will have a public hearing and will advise MDOT if they approve of the MDOT recommendations. That's what she told me, and that's at where it sits right now. And so it's now in the works, and I hope they are able to expedite it. But as Scott had said, they originally, I think, said in a letter, it would take 12 to 18 months to complete a speed study. And because she said they have a lot of other requests too in their department, but she said she will talk to this Aldo and
on their speed study, that we're gonna make sure when we talk about it to them that, see if we can get them blinking light signs, and we put that.
It's in the letter too. Historically, I think they've done these speed studies well before a year even. I mean, like the one that corner Black Pine and Highway 1, that was just I'd say a few months.
Yeah.
They also brought up that, the local government could pay for these signs, but it may take them some time, but they do it elsewhere.
I mean, they got them in Helmville, they got them everywhere you go, now you see them, so. I can't imagine why the local government has to pay for them, it's their highway, and all we're trying to give them, set them where they can see them a little better, width and out there,
Yeah, potentially if they say no, then I guess the county could look at that, but yeah, I think it should be on them too.
Joan Radine sent an email to the commission and to Blaine stating that if the county wanted this process to be expedited, they could hire a firm to do the study themselves and pay for the cost. My opinion on it is I think the MDOT should go ahead and through with their process and get their engineer, as she told me they would, to come out and conduct this speed study. And I don't know, like you take Elmville has one of the signs, Deer Lodge has one of the blinking signs, they're all over right now. If those are being paid for by the state, the MDOT, or if those are being paid for.
I'll look into that, but I would assume MDOT.
Pretty sure it's been all state, they just went and asked them, and they had abundance of them, is what I heard, I can't, it's just hearsay, so.
I'll double check that, though, and see where they pay.
She made it sound like actually the blinking, the speed lights that blink and show what the driver's speed is on each end of town. She at least felt that they probably ought to be able to expedite that request, but I suppose she has to consult with her supervisor when she says something like that. But I guess when I say we're on hold, I think we're waiting for them to
Think we've
take the
done
next step.
we've done everything we can possibly can, just wait for them to respond back. Kind of the balls in their court, and they'll have to do the study, and then we just, we'll keep in touch with them, so don't get through back.
Yeah, and kind of, I think they're in a department where the squeaky wheel gets the grease sometimes, and I think we need to squeak once in a while just to let them know that we expect some action.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Do you?
You're a squeaker.
There's a balance there. If it's every week, it might take them 18 months.
Well, I appreciate all that, and we'll keep on them too, and just keep, so they don't get forgotten or left behind. So, on that, is there any public comment on that? All right, we'll go ahead and get behind a little bit, I'm trying to get caught up, but updates on MRL proposed abandonment of railway line. It's just, Okay, so,
I'd be happy to speak to that right now,
all right,
the
fine.
first, if that's all right.
I just wanna make sure we're doing it right.
Well, there was the newspaper notice, the notice in the Phillipsburg Mail, where Montana Rail Link had stated that they had thought they would file a petition for abandonment sometime in January. And I, reading that notice, was under the impression that's what they would do. But they did send to the county, and they sent to Drummond what they call a environmental and historical report. And I'm just going to try to summarize some things in that. Actually, Montana Rail Link states that they are not aware of any environmental concerns really in it. And this has been sent into what's called the Surface Transportation Board, which is going to determine whether the rail line is going to be abandoned or not. I felt it as, I guess as a citizen and also a landowner that through which a lot of the rail line goes, that some of the misstatements that Montana Rail Link made through there needed to be corrected. So I filed a response of the landowner Johnson Tuning Fork Ranch to the Montana Rail Link Environmental and Historical Report. That has been received by the county commission and is part of their file already. It was as correspondence. And what I want to do is put on the record, and it's going to be a short version of it, is that there are 10 bridges between Drummond and Phillipsburg. Now, people, when they drive by on the highway and they see one of these old railroad bridges, they say that's kind of a historical thing and it's kind of nice to look at. But eventually these creosote soaked timbers are going to fall in the creek. I mean, it's just a matter of reality, even though they're creosote coated, and then they become an environmental hazard in the creek and in the banks of the creek. And the cost, I started looking, our ranch has 3 of those bridges that go across, that are on our, when I say our property, it's where the railroad bed goes through our property. And if Montana Rail Link is allowed to abandon these railroad bridges without having the actual obligation of removing them at the time they become a hazardous situation, it's going to be a tremendous cost. I looked at the location of these bridges just to gain access to them and get equipment in there like cranes and things of that nature to be able to dismantle those bridges would be a really expensive task. And if you want to see an example of one about a mile to the north of the Black Pine Road on Flint Creek, it's right along the highway. It's where there's a kind of a fishing access site there. If you look over there, you'll find one of where the supports is already falling over, and it will eventually get into the creek. And I would think the department, the DEQ, and also the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks would be concerned about that, as well as us in the county. The other aspect that they don't even refer to in their Montana Rail Link does not refer to in their environmental and historical report is that the numbers of culverts that go underneath the bed of the railroad there we have 8 of them in about a mile and a half between Hall and Douglas Creek. And what happens is these culverts that go usually under the railroad bed and under the highway bed, they drain natural flows from spring waters, from snow melts, from rainflow. And there are quite a number of springs down in that area. So those springs flow year round. If those culverts collapse, and again, they will collapse, it's just a matter of time before some of them are steel, some of them are concrete, and we have 8 in a mile and a half through there. I would guess there are probably no fewer than 100 from Drummond to Phillipsburg. If Montana Rail Link is allowed to abandon the railroad bed without any obligation to replace those culverts or to dig out where the culverts go through, that's going to be a tremendous cost. There'll be some people would not have the equipment, the resources to be able to do that. So I think that is an environmental, risk that Montana Rail Link is choosing to ignore at this particular time. Another aspect is the existence of hazards. That railroad line was used to haul probably tank cars containing mercury in them. The railroad line was established in 1893 between Drummond and Phillipsburg, and they transported all kinds of materials having to do with the mining in the Phillipsburg and the Granite area. And I think it's likely that there are hazardous wastes. I'm not aware of any, but it's likely that there have been hazardous wastes deposited along the railroad line since 1893. And I think the Montana Rail Link should have to do some kind of a study to determine what hazards might be along that line and to remove them if they are there. The next thing is weeds. They have said right here that Joe Roscoe stated that they are planning on removing the railroad ties and the rails from this line. You know, it's been my experience, and I think anybody can tell you that when you excavate, it'll disturb the soil. The next thing that will happen after that they're taken away is the knapweed and leafy spurge and hound's tongue and almost every kind of noxious weed is going to want to grow in those places where they're disturbed. So I think that Montana Rail Link should have an obligation of undertaking the weed control along the bed. And so I'll shorten that down a little bit. I had very little luck with getting a hold of Joe Roscoe, who's president of Montana Rail Link. I determined that he was probably ignoring my call, so I called their attorneys. They're a Washington, D.C. law firm by name of Mullins Law Group, and Crystal Zorbaugh, and she's listed on that environmental report that was filed. She is the first attorney listed on that. I called her number. He answered right away. It was very pleasant, and I talked to her about the petition for abandonment, and as Blaine had already told me, he didn't think there was a petition that had been filed yet. She told me that despite Montana Rail Link's statement that it would have been filed in January, it has not been filed yet. So the petition for abandonment, she said, would be filed in probably about 4 to 6 weeks. That was on April 3rd that she told me that. But she said Montana Rail Link through their firm will file an amended, updated environmental report. And I don't know, I didn't really ask her if that would be before they file the petition, but the petition has not been filed yet, and it would be 4 to 6 weeks they anticipate before it would be filed. And I told her I was having a difficult time getting Joe Roscoe to respond to my telephone call. She said, "Don't feel bad." She said, "I'm his attorney, and he doesn't respond to my calls either." So
I'm not good.
But she did have a call scheduled for it because that's how they operate. They schedule their telephone calls, have a telephone meeting. So there probably has been some action, but I'm not, our ranch is not a party to this, but I think the county should stay engaged. I'm not saying they should become an entity that wants to take responsibility for the total railroad line, but I think Montana Rail Link and the Surface Transportation Board will look towards the county as being somebody that they want to get opinions from, and I would sure appreciate it if the county would stay engaged enough to at least support the fact that.
I think we said we would. We just didn't say we wanted to take it over, because we got that problem right in front of your house there, so that's, on the railroad and the park stuff. But I think we actually also agreed we'd stay engaged, but we don't want to take it over.
No, I think that's prudent. that the county would not take it over. What Montana Rail Link wanted to do is pass the responsibility on to the rails to trails group. They would love to have, I think, been able to, after they have abandoned it, to be able to transfer those risks to a rails to trails group. The local rails to trails group, as everybody's probably seen in the newspaper, has said after they attended that meeting that we had, that they don't want to have any part of it. And in talking to some of their members, they also recognize the risks involved if they were to accept responsibility for the rail debt. Now, I don't know if there's a national advocacy, rails to trails advocacy group that
Probably is.
you know, if there's some rails to trails group that's funded through the federal government or
I
somehow.
don't know, if we could look into it.
One of the things they talked about though is if an entity has interest and goes to them, then they have to engage in a dialogue there. But yeah, you're talking
Well, I think,
astronomical costs.
I think to move on, we'll just stay engaged and try to keep updated with you. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I agree with what you said on stay engaged, keeping up, updated on when they're filing that, look into that and let the public know as well. Folks can protest it. I think likely if they file that petition to abandon, my gut tells me they're gonna allow the abandonment, but it's gonna be with conditions, and those conditions are what I think Chuck's talking about. They need to be in place that protects those issues.
We'll just keep involved with it, make sure, just go on, you miss out.
And one thing I proposed in my response to the environmental report that in Montana Rail Link is that if they're allowed to abandon this line, they should be required to post. I suggested $5 million bond, because I did not think that was excessive. I looked at all the costs associated with remediation and of this line.
That's reasonable. Yeah, that's good.
Well, and
Well, thanks.
You bet.
We hear anything, we'll let you know. You hear anything, let's
I entertain the motion for the claims.
I make a motion that we accept claims for April 2025.
Or the March claims. Or March claims.
Or the March claims. County claims, I make a motion, we accept the county claims for March.
Next second, public comment. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
She worked out for me. The rail thing can get to be a big project. Oh, well, most of those rails, trails deals are on public land.
Are they? Well, I would mark you.
And just almost entirely.
All right, we're running a couple minutes behind, but getting caught up. The next one will be the North Fork of Lower Willow Creek Road abandonment with Dave Pikes and Mike Shaler. Update and discussion is all today.
Well,
Come up, state your name and,
I'm Dave Pikes.
yeah,
You
come
can
up,
sit up here if you'd like.
so they can hear you off.
At this time, we've finally been able to meet the conditions that you laid out before, and that was to get the signatures or permission or the blessing, so to speak, of the irrigation district in terms of supporting abandoning or vacating what is described as North Willow Creek Road. I just wanted to mention, because I didn't bring it up before, I never realized that there was a road there. It wasn't on my survey and it wasn't on the title insurance policy. Well, I never knew there was a road there to begin with. I may have done something different, I guess. But I've met the conditions. I have the approval of the irrigation district. in fact, is, prepared an easement with their signatures on it.
You have that?
Yes, I do.
We haven't seen nothing, so.
We've seen the easement.
Yeah, that, but I mean, when he's talking about the meeting they have, that's all new to us.
You have the meeting minutes, please? It says, I got a little out of sequence, Scott. In the first paragraph. It says it supersedes and replaces a previous easement. I kinda got off.
Is that the original? Not the original? Yeah, don't stamp that. That's the original.
Which one's the original, Rex?
here. Okay, all right, so that's the commission. Okay.
Right, okay.
Stamp
Yeah, you
this
can
one.
stamp that one.
Yeah, I got a little out of sequence and filed an easement. And that was my misunderstanding of how the sequence should go.
This all shows for today.
Pardon me?
This all shows, notarized and everything for today.
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, so that's it's an correct amendment to that other easement, is what you're saying?
It replaces,
Replaces,
right.
yeah.
There's the minutes.
So that's the first time you're seeing it.
Here's the minutes. It's word for word. The same as the one that you reviewed before, except it's got two more signature lines. And it's got a statement that it supersedes and replaces the previous.
Okay. And Patty Bignell and Dan Hoffman were two that had issues, they signed it. Got
Yeah,
it.
they signed it and they, we put their, one of the original. Yeah, their names are on the signature line.
So you're kind of banning the one being the existing Anderson easement, and the second will be the newly filed easement with Dave Pikes.
Say that again, Scott?
I'm just reading this. Just where you want the.
The existing Anderson easement?
What it says.
That will be the newly filed.
We're not abandoning that. It's just the minutes of what we discussed. There's multiple easements on Dave's place right now.
Oh, that was, Lee and Gala that gave the easements for the BizNet and the James did.
Get me all mixed up here.
The Anderson.
Would you state your name, Rex?
Oh, Rex Radke. The Anderson easement. I can show you all those easements that are recorded. Was the original one in 1960 that allowed for the, emergency. At that time, it was a primary spillway. But we refer to it now as the emergency spillway, because primary spillway was built in 78-ish. It comes down the face of the dam. So there's an easement going through, Dave Pikes' place that comes right next to the existing county road. And then goes around the hill and back into the stream. And then they, when they put the dam in, they rechanneled the stream. You know, so it's an engineered stream, and there's an easement on that. also, and then there's some more easements that are for the south side ditch. And then SCA's, cleaned up everything for, at that time, it would have been
Biznet.
His net. I don't know why that's a hard word to say. And, James Headgates, which have now changed to it transferred with ownership. The Hotmans and to, Mike Nelson.
Cause Scouse didn't realize it was a county road either. I think she gave those easements so they could go down the driveway and then get to the easements that exist along the stream.
And the irrigation district meeting, that wasn't talking to shareholders, that's not just directors, correct?
Correct.
That was shareholders.
It was a unanimous vote again on the amount of shareholders that were present at that day. You know, it doesn't represent all of them, but, you know, we were about it. So it was a well over a quorum. Been presented with, when they did this in 1960, he's been presented with, the easements that, Willow Creek Dam purchased, from both Anderson and Olson at the time, that moved the road to where it is present, and the county has the easements of that. And the correspondence that went around with it. When they moved the road.
Yeah. That's my understanding. I don't have it on me, but.
Oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's on the, on that easement is on my title policy. That's the only easement in 1960. And that easement was for the benefit of Granite County to move the road. That was the easement for the construction of a new road, because it went across Anderson and some other people, but it was the limits of my property was Anderson.
So what you're saying is the irrigation district is good with this easement. It gives you the easements you need to access all of your improvements and takes care of all the issues,
Yeah,
correct?
and we've also got the, Montana statute, 2023, which, gives secondary easements prior to 1981, and the dam's been in since 1960. So I mean.
Yeah, there's applied easements there.
Yeah, there's applied easements, covered and have had, gone all the way to the Supreme Court of Montana. So, and this is just me looking through it. I mean, the irrigation district hadn't changed because the dam and the stored water set upon the old county road. So they knew that. So they went through and did all this. It's just, there's no records of it in the county, commissioners' records from back in 1960. They're very obtuse minutes.
Rex and I spent a lot of hours in reviewing all that stuff.
Yeah, basically, it's just who was present at the meetings and the warrants that were issued. I mean, there's no.
It shows you why minutes should be,
Yeah, and in,
a good enough summary to know what went on.
Yeah, and in 10 years, they discussed something more than minutes or, warrants. I don't think the county was that bored. But, and then in 1967, when they rededicated these roads,
There was no motion to do that or any of that.
Well, I don't know, but they went off of the original surveys that were done. I don't know, you know, none of the original surveys, and it was just kind of a blanket policy, and I don't think they sent somebody else out there to ever say, oh, the road changed a little bit here, or whatever. And the commissioners that did that in 1967 weren't the same commissioners when Willow Creek was up here, first meeting with them in the 60s, in 60. So, I mean, there was no historical recollection from anybody.
Well, from my perspective is the county didn't want in the middle of a dispute between the irrigation district. So you have that resolved, that settles any issues I have. The commission did have the public hearing on the abandonment, move to abandon, so long as there was a consensus among the irrigation district. Today is just a discussion, but unless the commission is gonna basically move to change their previous position, then let's say move forward.
Well, yeah, because it's just discussion and Paul needs to be here to look this over since we just got this. And I just put table it for a week or 2 weeks, whatever, so we can look the stuff over and talk about it. And pretty plain.
So I just want to make mention that, in that second meeting you had, you know, Patty was, Bignell made mention of it. She's now signed both things and voted for it because it was unanimous. One of Tim Skinner, I can't remember, sent a letter, and there was 3 Skinners present at this meeting, no objections from them. And then the other letter that you got from Travis Callback, he made mention that he was a water user. He is not. He is employed by a water user, but he holds no water rights nor shares out of Willow Creek Dam. So he was a little bold in his.
So we're not gonna sit here and get into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, it's
Some of this, you know, when you brought it right into us, you brought it in without having a meeting. I mean, we can go get into all that too, and I'm not going to. Okay? We're not gonna sit here and bash people, just because somebody said something, that's.
well, yeah, but I
Everybody has
mean,
their
if it's
opinion.
taken into record, man, should
I
be
know,
clear.
I'm just saying, we're not gonna get into that.
So question. I'm getting from your conversation, are you saying that there isn't good documentation that it's a county road? Is that what you're saying? Or what?
No, I think originally, yes, the original road that ran up there, yes, it's well documented, it was a county road.
And because the road has changed,
Obliterated and.
Yeah. Here, I got it.
Not all, just the one that goes under is what you're saying.
You were talking about in the rededication process.
Right.
It was the.
so it was
issue, yeah.
rededicated then.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
rededicated without the corrections of
The new road.
the new road that went in the 60s, in 60.
so it created a bit of an ambiguity there. So, but it's still, no one's disputing that it's a county
That
road,
it's
so you
county.
still have to,
Okay.
you still have to go through, if it's gonna be abandoned, it's gotta go through the commission. You guys, the commission is given proper, the petition is correct, public notice was correct, the public hearing was correct, so the House decision.
Okay, and this is just hand sketch, so we take it verbatim. Prior to 1960. You come up, you know where the Police Patch Road is, you know where Jim Densmore lives. Have you been up Willow Creek? Okay. So anyway, the road comes out of Hall, yada, yada, yada. and then turns and it's headed west. Where Dave's division is. Subdivision. I'm roughly drawing it. Okay, so Dave's house and subdivision says here, the old county road used to turn and go down the draw. And then up following Willow Creek. This picture's from 1955, as best as I can tell. Goes up and came out, crossed the South Fork, and then continues up the North Fork of the creek. The old Norling homestead was approximately here. This is way before I was born. So in 1960, this was Olson's over here. This was the Anderson place or Scott's. I got the easements. The Lower Willow Creek got easements for the county to reset this road through Anderson's and then again approximately and hook back into the road. And actually, I think it jumps up over here and then goes around the hill. But however, because I think this is the island it used to go through.
You can see that a little more, but I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. And then in 1960, they built the dam. So this old road here is completely underwater.
Or under the dam.
Or under the dam, both. And so legally, we are impeding a county road. So if somebody wanted to claim, they could claim us to drain the dam down and go drive up and over the dam and come out. So the other easements, just a second, we'll grab it.
The easements for the irrigation district are on that original survey. Are shown on that original survey. The survey that I used to buy my place, or that.
Right here.
That's his place right there. And then that little road, you go right through his driveway, his house is right there, you drive down through his driveway, come down to here, and then you just take a left and go up to the dam.
Yeah.
County road but not maintained.
Correct.
Okay.
I see what you're saying, Rex, I can. I think now that everybody's on board, you know, guys just gotta look and see and not make a decision today,
Right.
and he needs to be here and table it for a week or 2 weeks, whatever, 2 weeks, so he has time to look at it.
So anyway, I can't find
I
it
see what
now,
you're
but
saying.
we have, so the spillway, and this is all guesstimates, okay? The emergency spillway runs out, comes around. Willow Creek Irrigation District, I'm not going to present you with the decree on, or the deed on that, but it's all blocked up, so. The district owns around that. And the spillway comes out, the old spillway, hopefully never use it. It's got an easement that runs like this. And the old creek used to run over here, and then when they put the new one in, it comes over here. And this is all an Anderson easement. There's an easement for the new south side ditch.
And the state still holds the Anderson ones, and, we're just.
The district does, yeah, has that, so, you know, and it's applied that there is, but Dave's new easement applies that we can use the existing Old County Road. And then when they rechannel the stream sets on some of the Old County Road, and there's a scratched road going in, and that was used to put the new spillway in.
That's where we come in, like past his
So
place.
that's your easement, and you've amended it and you're gonna re-record it, is that?
Yeah, and then it also clarifies that we can use this road.
So it's the one that you recorded, you've amended it and. Okay,
Yeah.
So, and now
And we're not dropping any of the pre-existing easements on that.
Yeah, right, okay. So what you're saying is it's giving the water user where they can have access to it.
Yeah, and I mean, we got it also through that 1981 law too.
Ours in that,
That, yeah, I don't care, you can have it.
I keep working together.
Okay, and this is an old letter. I've got 3 copies of that, so you can have one.
Is that the original? Whoops.
Well, I think so. I mean, it's originals. No, I've got 3 copies. I can show you.
That looks like an original to me.
I just don't wanna give up the one that's got my grandfather's handwriting on it.
I don't think we-
Okay, I get you.
No, you can have that one. This is the one I'm not gonna. It's the same thing, but it was obviously at a meeting they were having with the commissioners.
Okay.
That who covered what in the proposed change in road, cause. And you'll have to read it, I can't remember, cause there were cattle crossings put in. This one's got, you know, you can't do the grade up to 6%, I'm thinking. So, anyway, you can have, I want that, yeah, that one you can have, what's that? So, I mean, they were discussing it with the county commissioners at the time when they were changing the road all around.
So when you read the minutes from the county commissioner,
There's nothing in it.
There isn't?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been up here twice trying to dig through it, and it's basically, you know. There was a McGowan that was a commissioner, I can't remember. They were present, the secretary was present all through the 60s. They sold some equipment in one. They recorded the warrants and reading.
oh, so you,
Yeah, so I mean, they're very, very,
okay.
no, you can snap it, I got 2 more.
Looks like the original, is big, you know.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you can do it.
yeah,
It comes with.
so I mean, there was discussion, it just, in my assumption, it would just never was recorded and, you know, because the county, have you seen the county's, the easements for the county for the new road?
You're talking about the,
When the district,
the rededication
no,
of the original one?
no, yeah, not even,
It was one that was on my title policy, which I gave some sure I brought those copies, and gave them to Miranda, she gave you some stuff.
Everything we got. They're just making a fool of everything. All this stuff.
Here we go. So there's your survey that shows the
That's the one you have, Lawrence.
and then here's.
oh, I got it. So if we go back to that hand-drawn man.
And here's where that easement shows up on my title
Okay.
for the benefit of Granite County, and that was the easement to replace the old road.
So. Let's work from, let's work from east to west. So this is the Anderson easement. So it would start here and run to wherever that cross is. That's an guesstimate. Giving it the county the easement on that road. That portion of the road. This is the Olson one, so Olson's owned from approximately where you drive in the dam up through wherever the roads came back.
Yeah, where it went through
Yeah.
section 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the easement. That's the 2 easements that.
For the road as it is right now.
Yeah, where the road is, where we drive up it right now.
Well, I guess like I said, we'll. I think you have to. That's when.
Oh, okay, I have to.
So, and you guys, you've got copies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, they filed like 27 easements all in one day, so that's why it takes me a while to go through everything. The other easements are concerning, the spillway and the stream
Well, I guess going back just
relocation.
like Blaine was saying, once everybody got on board, I guess, we just bring it, table it. And when Paul gets here, give him time to look over all that.
Okay.
And then I won't make a decision then.
Yeah, and I'll come back up.
That,
Yeah, meantime, you're recording that easement, correct? Or you
Or
can,
should I wait till the road's vacated? I thought I kind of made a mistake by recording the other one.
well, that's when I said, yeah, when he recorded the other one, see, it's just, that's what stirred everything.
that's, I mean,
But this,
it'd be totally up to you on when you record it. If you wanna wait until the commission decides that, has their meeting, that's fine too, but we couldn't, I think, we couldn't stop you from recording.
well, it would be an easement on a current. I made that, I think it was a mistake for me to do that. I kind of got out of sequence there. I didn't understand.
So the easement that you put of record is given an easement for this road here, is that what you're saying? You made that mistake or what? That's a county road?
Yes.
So the easement that you have of record
It describes that,
describes this.
but what it's missing is,
So you want us to abandon this,
right,
and so the other easement that you have.
just see the easement, I've got a replacement for that.
Just like, let her finish first.
Well, I lost my train of thought. So what you're saying, okay, what you're saying, I'm trying to understand this. The easement that you put of record. What's the point of abandoning it if you're given an easement through there that's on that road?
Because it's still a county road.
Right.
I wanna vacate that and give the district. Oh, and Blaine has looked at that easement and,
So why do you want to vacate it?
well, because then it's a county road, it's open to the public, I gotta show that on my, we're waiting to complete the survey and the subdivision.
Oh, so you're putting the subdivision in here and you don't want the county road there.
It's not, it's two pieces of land. I'm making two pieces of land. I'm not building a subdivision. It's called a subdivision. I'm splitting.
Well, that's what you said, that's where we're getting all confused.
Well, but that's the way it's termed. I'm taking 7 acres in the house and the buildings and I'm selling that. And I'm selling the rest of the 200 acres to my neighbor. And none of that land is buildable anyway. First of all, it's largely a floodplain. It's below a high hazard dam. And I can't obstruct the emergency spillway easement. It's grazing land, that's all it is.
I mean, Willow Creek's got umpteen easements going through that. I mean, they don't own it, but you can't obstruct the easements.
And you couldn't, if there was nothing there, I'm trying to make a clean title that does not show a county road. It'll show the easements.
And then the reason Willow Creek is for it is because once we get past Dave's place where the district owns, the county road is still there according to, the 1967 rededication. And we've got a dam built upon the county road. And we flooded out, you know, actually probably most of the existing 1967 rededicated road, even though we're only at 40% full, I'm gonna say 80% of it is underwater right now. So we're illegally blockading a county road.
And if it's a county road, it dead ends right at the toe of the dam, and that's. I've been working on with Rex on this dam for 4 years and dam safety and that. You don't want that kind of public access to the toe of the dam.
You know, we.
Oh, so you're saying you don't want a public access to the dam, you want that road abandoned?
Yes, ma'am.
That's why you want it
Yes,
abandoned?
that's,
Yes.
yes, and the district would, that's
The
why,
district wants it abandoned.
yes.
Yeah, because I mean, we can't have people, we've got a bunch of piezometers in there, and we've already had somebody drive up and over the dam. And I mean, it's public safety, well, it's a financial safety concern for the district, but also a public safety if somebody jumps in, yeah, liability, if somebody gets next to the spillway or, you know, drives in the channel or.
Right, but isn't there a lot of people that don't want this abandoned?
I think at first now, a few of them coming back and saying, that's what I wanna tell you what.
Okay,
There was a story.
Maybe just a second,
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, you were correct, there was people that were against it calling, we had lots of calls and. I think it was just because the way it got done first and everybody thought it was just kind of translated under how. Now you got everything coming back where people can actually see that the board's involved in there. It just got blew out of the hand and you just had to do it this way and I'll have to table it for 2 weeks for Paul to look at it.
okay, so I get it now, there were people that didn't want it. And now those same people, are they saying it's okay to abandon it?
They signed the thing, the other 2 boards.
Yeah, the Skinners were originally, Kim and Tim, I believe, and they were at that meeting. Patty Bignell and Dan Hotman, and now they've signed off on it. And so, there was, he did mention, Travis Colbeck. But so that would be as,
calls.
that would be as a resident, not a water user from right there, right?
Correct.
And some of it, I believe, was based on a story, because I heard it from a lot of people that there was some big subdivision going in there. It was not. And once that was explained, like to Tim and some other people.
Okay, so you kind of have to like start over again, because we've got a different petition, it's wanting it to be abandoned.
I think the petition is still the same, isn't it?
Well, weren't there people that were against it that came forward and said they're for it? Did they sign something?
So, they had the original petitioners, on the petition, and then, it was just the objections that I told you about, that then, everyone's back on board except for Travis Colbeck, it appears.
Yeah, a few other, I mean, I
Okay.
get calls, yeah, so.
I guess I haven't seen anything in writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So I just go ahead and table it for 2 weeks, so we Paul and look at it, and then we'll make a decision on in 2 weeks.
Oh, you
But
can, I was under the assumption you have to have 3 meetings, but.
we've already had a public comment, we've had,
Yeah.
or the
Public hearing.
meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're right
Yeah.
on top, it's just
Yeah.
taking a little longer, cause we keep getting new facts, and when we now we got a whole piece more, so gotta do it right.
So,
So
we'll,
we haven't had a public hearing to abandon yet.
yeah, there has been,
Yep.
There has been.
there has been.
You weren't there.
There's a,
Right, okay.
if you'd like to hear that, it was, or there's minutes from it, but, then there was the public meeting to make the decision meeting, and that's where it was said if there was consensus among the district. And so they obtained that, So back on the agenda, it sounds like in
Okay,
2 weeks.
I get it.
And then you couldn't have a meeting because there was some personal issues come up with the other two board members, so it just kept getting dragged out, that's why we're sitting. Now, in 2 weeks, we'll make a decision. Go from there, thanks.
Schedule it with Miranda.
No, we will, we'll put it on your.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
All
right.
Thank
We
you.
can take other public comment potentially.
Any other public comment? No, I didn't see nobody, I've been watching that. I don't know if that guy, is that who's he, is that Shayla?
Yeah, Mike just wanted to,
I just making sure I recognize, I didn't know if he was waving or.
Yeah, no comment. I was just here in case anybody had any other questions. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. All right, well, we got to move on and 2 weeks we'll make a decision.
Okay, if you guys need any other things, just get a hold of me.
I think we're pretty.
Yeah, if you need. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, well, we're got a little behind there, that's all right, we'll go to the old outdoor chapel at Georgetown Lake Dam rental on July 25th, 2026, discussion and decision. What's that? No, I just started to hurry up and wait. We're just doing it the right way, we don't need comments like that. I still can hear some.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it in, I'm just saying, we don't need little comments like that. So, we're back on this rental. They don't wanna rent, or they wanna rent it on July 25th, or?
Yeah, the talk about the outdoor chapel
Yeah.
for a wedding,
Yep,
is
for
it?
wedding.
For wedding,
Okay.
something that historically allowed, we have the draft agreement.
No, I see where we didn't we charge them before, just to make sure that we have something if we have to clean up?
So it was, like, if they were gonna have alcohol there, it required,
And they're not.
an insurance policy, okay. And then, I think there was a deposit, yeah, added a deposit required.
So in
Well,
Billy's
I
notes,
think we
it's
need to have a
500.
deposit due to the fact that it'll cost us if we have to, this way they'll make sure and clean up their own.
Yeah, clean up the deposit, get their deposit back. Did we charge to use it? We didn't, we just had a deposit.
I thought we did charge.
Yeah, my understanding was just a deposit, but,
Okay.
that it was returned when
I
they
keep thinking
cleaned it
of
up.
the church people using it, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, so you have the lease with the diocese, but that's not an exclusive lease, and so as long as it's not interrupting their
So what did
plantings
we
on
have
Sundays,
for
so.
deposit?
I thought it was 500.
That's
Is that,
historically from the, that's.
I think we need to keep it at 500, a little more, I mean,
Yeah, to clean up.
yeah.
They would be responsible for the cleanup, but if they didn't, it would expect them.
I think that way it just makes it, cause we don't have enough crew to do what we got. you know,
Well,
So, I
we
think
didn't have to clean up after anybody.
Those are separate.
I guess, put 500 in the. Just put it in second line, right? You have this one?
No, that's only a copy.
Yeah, it'd be written in, or they're, the one they proposed, he's got.
Okay. Committee shall pay for the rental of the rental premises accompanied by a separate refundable damage deposit.
Is that where we put the 500 in?
So do we put 0 and then 500 deposit?
Yeah.
Yep,
No, I'm sure on that.
yeah, and then 500.
Like that?
Alcohol will not be consumed on the rental premises. Marijuana or ash oil will not be consumed. I mean, that's up to them to want for that. We're not gonna be up there Mike.
Yeah.
I didn't, okay, sorry, motion,
I make a motion that we go ahead and rent the outdoor chapel at Georgetown Lake on July 25th, 2026, with the deposit and a 0 rental payment. Deposit of 500.
I second that, public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried back. Try to get copy of that, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh. All right, we'll go into service provider designation, form state approved substance use disorder designated provider, earmarked alcohol, tax, monies, discussion, decisions.
Well, I know that last year we had a couple different people want these tax monies, alcohol tax monies, and we ended up saying, but they were giving them to Zenith View and Zenfly. Is that who we had from last year?
Yeah, didn't we pick somebody at local and going out?
What?
Is that?
This is
am I
what-
wrong?
Yeah,
So for the alcohol monies went to, Zenith View. But what do you have before you? The,
Just instruction for the service provider county designation.
Oh. I would like to make a motion to keep it the same as it was last year.
Yeah, I second. I second. I guess that
And
last.
so it says Zenith and then Zenfly, are they the same?
no, they're not, they're different.
Do they both get some?
We went with just Zenith because they're local, because this other person.
Yeah, well, Zenfly is local too, a local person, but it's,
Well, I got a comment from a person that was shocked that they weren't having enough, credits or something, this lady, I didn't bring it today, but
That who didn't?
that they weren't really certified in that.
no, they were recognized by the state.
Yeah.
Zenith, I'm not sure about Zenfly. So it'd have to,
Yeah, and the one that we had a couple that came in and asked for the monies and they weren't recognized, and then we went ahead with Zenith.
Zenith is working with us and doing a good job.
Well, second Blanche's, so that's on for Zenith and Zoom in line. They were,
You're gonna go with both of them?
I thought, or do you
Well,
want
I didn't know who did, but how come they have two on here?
So
That's
there's,
what that's what, I just. Why is it?
That's why-
okay, so they are recognized, but, so you could give half to each, but.
Well,
it's
there
up to-
isn't that much to
No,
really even make
yeah.
a difference.
And Zenith is using it, so, yeah.
Zenith. Okay, I will make the motion that we give our alcohol money share to the Zenith View LLC.
I second that. Public comment? Being done, all in favor?
Aye.
On that note, anything else, any public comment? Meeting's been adjourned. Good job today, guys.